Welcome back to part 2, episode 16. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go on to some pretty interesting topics here.
So we don't have one major topic, but I've got a couple things I want to talk about, okay?
I'll tell you they're interesting because they're coming from my man Jeff over here.
All right.
It's your boy again from Shaboy again. Yes!
All right, so first of all, we've got a hot or not.
Hot or not?
We're going to start with the hot.
Excited.
I recently found out that Kevin Smith, one of my favorite directors, is making a new movie.
Yeah, I did hear about this.
He's making a new Jay and Silent Bob movie.
Yep.
So I read apparently he had I'm friends with him, I think I'm on Instagram.
You're friends with him?
Yeah, he and our buds. We're cool like that. So he's on my Instagram.
Why is he not on the
He's on my
podcast?
Instagram. Kevin Smith, if you're ever listening, and I swear to God, I would blow you for you to come on the podcast.
Kate's gonna be like, I did not know that about you.
I
just
seriously
learned that
would.
about you.
All right, so
Oh, yes.
he's making a new movie. Apparently, Clerks can't happen. He wants to make Clerks 3, but okay, so the story starts. He wanted to make a new movie.
He's so excited he can't even get it out.
Wanted to start a movie because he kind of urges to make a new one. He can't do Clerks because a lot of the people, one or two of the guys, just doesn't act anymore. I believe it's
All right.
Randall, not Randall. I'm not sure which one it is, but one of the guys doesn't act anymore, so you
doesn't
can't
act
have
anymore.
it. I think it's the main guy.
All right.
I want to say it's Randall. It's not Randall. It's the other guy. Anyways, so I should know this, but I don't. Anyway, he doesn't act
Hang in
anymore.
there, buddy.
So then he wanted to do another movie with one of Mallrats.
Oh.
But apparently he sold all the rights to all of his stuff. It's like Dogma. Somebody else owns all that, so he just sold it all. But the only thing he said he owns now is Jay and Silent Bob. So he said he wants to do a movie. He's shooting it right now. Mm-hmm. I'm super excited about it. I love Kevin Smith. Love all of his movies. Well, maybe not all of them, but I love. If you've never heard Kevin Smith talk at a college or university or whatever, I think it's A Night with Kevin Smith. I think the DVDs are called or whatever.
Okay.
But basically, he just sits up there and people ask him random questions and he just talks. That is my goal in life.
Wow.
So if this
That's
ever
kinda what
takes
this
off,
is.
Joe and I are just going to sit up somewhere and people are going to ask us dumb questions and we're going to answer them. And
That's actually really.
he goes off into
awesome.
tangents and he's got a lot of cool stories because he's pretty laid back and he's open.
He's been a part of the Hollywood scene for a while.
Yeah, and he's just he goes into the whole thing about how Bruce Willis is kind of an asshole.
Wow.
Think about how when they shot the movie, he was kind of a jerk and all this other stuff. So and he talks about it, all that stuff. So, anyways, very excited about that. Okay.
All right.
We talked about it earlier. You don't have anything? You think about it still?
Well, literally hot. Kate Upton is on the.
I saw this too.
Yeah, she's on the cover of Sports Illustrated again.
And she has no bikini on,
Whoopsie-daisy.
as you do.
I mean, that's literally hot. Now, one thing I thought was cool was that, so I follow Kate, as I like to
As
just
you do.
good old Kate.
Friends.
Yep, friends. On
Not
Instagram.
to be confused with my wife, Kate.
Yep. No.
That'd be
but
really crazy if I was married to
we're
Kate
also-
Upton.
Dude, you don't even understand. We wouldn't be talking right now. Anyways.
You'd be at my house 24/7.
No, I don't. I wouldn't know you is what it would be. But anyways,
Oh, it's funny.
so a while ago when we were talking about our acting podcast, I had talked about a girl by the name of Andrea Belke. She's from Random Lake, the town that I grew up in.
Sure.
She is now. It's more of an online deal. She's been on Survivor a couple times, and she's
I think
actually
you
on the
mentioned this.
newest. She's on the newest
Season?
Survivor. Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
So
okay.
check her out, ladies and gentlemen. But she's on. I do believe it's an online TV show, but it's called People Now. So it's like a spinoff of the magazine. I think.
Okay.
I would assume it is. I've never checked it out.
Okay.
But Kate Upton today posted on Instagram a picture of Andrea and the other
Really?
hosts from this said, "Thank you, people, for
okay.
having me. Thank you, people, now for having
Oh,
me
okay.
on."
So she was on People Now. Okay.
But still, it was really cool because I was like, normally Andrea will post that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you just, because she's, I mean, everywhere from Chris Pratt right on through have been on that show.
Sure.
And she was always posting, or like on Snapchat, like, this is what.
Guess who I'm interviewing today?
Yeah.
or-
But this time it came from the actual star.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the
Yeah.
hey? So I thought that was
Hook a
kind of
brother
cool.
up.
Yeah.
No, that's
But
funny.
so that's my, because Kate Upton is hot. So
So the one thing I
really
will
hot.
say is that Kate Upton was very popular for a while. she fell off a little bit. Not looks wise, just off the radar.
Yeah.
And now she's back on it. So
For me,
if
she's
my
always been
if
on.
my career was going nowhere, I would pose naked for Sports Illustrated also. So I mean, nobody
don't
wants
know,
to see that, but I would if given the opportunity.
Somebody out there.
I'd be butt ass
I
naked.
know someone who would buy that.
I don't know if I want to meet that person.
I think it's your wife.
I don't know. I don't know if that's something.
Come
we
on,
wanna see.
Kate.
All right. So anyway, my
That's my hot.
not now. Okay.
Okay.
So as we talked about last episode,
Yes.
I took my kids and my wife to a hotel in
Very nice.
in Wisconsin Dells with a fellow family of ours. They've
Okay.
got a daughter who's the same age as my daughter.
Okay.
So it worked out. Everybody's having a good time. Okay.
Great time.
It was a good time.
In the
Hotel
Dells,
was really
Saturday.
nice. The room we had was really nice. The pool area was really nice for the kids. It was perfect for the little kids. Then the problem was that we decided to go to one of these ice castles.
The old ice castle.
So apparently it's some dude in Utah who started this whole thing in his backyard, and corporate America has since taken over and basically said, this is a really cool idea. Now they build them, grander
Legitimately.
scale
Yeah.
in like Wisconsin Dells and in a couple other parts of the country. So it's more of like a tourist attraction for people in the winter.
Okay.
I had no
Makes
idea.
sense.
I had no idea about this whole thing. So
Do you know there are like ice hotels?
Oh, yeah, I
You
think
can
I knew
stay
that.
in actual ice hotels.
Is your bed made out of ice?
We'd have to look it up, but I mean, you look at these places and it's ice.
I don't know if I'm a fan of that.
I'm not. People spend a lot of money to stay there. It's like
Up there.
James Bond type stuff.
Yeah, I've seen the movie with the hotel ice, but
It's the real deal.
so anyway, we decide to go to this ice castle. Now, the friends of ours had kind of mentioned it, and we thought, oh, that's cool. So we go there Saturday night, a little late, like 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that, I think. Well, it turns out you have to like buy tickets ahead of time, or they're really expensive at the door.
Okay.
And then also, if they sold out online, you can't even get in the door. So they can manage how many people go through. Makes sense. We made a mistake by not Googling it ahead of time. It was our mistake. No big deal, right? The problem is that, so that night, I buy tickets. And it opens at noon. And so you buy tickets that you enter the thing from 12:30 or 12 to 12:30. That's your window. So you show up between that half hour. You go in. You can stay as long as you want. But they
Okay.
only let so many people in during that hour. This way there's not so many people there, overcrowded and all that.
Sure.
And this place is inside of a parking lot in Wisconsin Dells. So it's a huge area.
Okay.
I would have said it would have easily accommodated 100 people without it being crowded at all. Okay. So anyway, you check out of the hotel at 11. We had to go to the other side of the hotel, do all this other stuff. We get there about 10 after 12. I'm thinking, perfect. They've already opened. I have my tickets already on my phone. I'm going to walk right in. We'll go do this thing. We'll come out. We'll eat. We'll do whatever we go.
But Jeff,
This mother effing company, I was so mad that it ruined everything for me. Okay, so this is what happened. They did not let anybody into the thing until 12:40.
why?
They just wouldn't. I don't know why. I don't know what was going on. They never made any announcement. They never said, "Hey, folks, we're having some trouble. Hey, folks, this is going on. I'm sorry."
Got some
But
ice melts.
imagine, let's just say 30 or 40 families, all with little kids, standing out in the middle of a parking lot in a cold, windy environment for a half hour. My kids were just, they were done. I mean,
Well,
throwing
of
hissy
course.
fits. They were just sick and tired. Why are we waiting here? We're getting cold. They're cold. Everybody's kid just melted, went to shit. And we're standing there. I was so mad. I was just like, why are we doing this? Everybody's making snotty comments. We're just like, this is so stupid. You make us buy tickets and show up between a half hour, and then you make everybody wait an additional. And it was so bad. We were all so angry. Okay, so this is what happened. We walk in. The couple we were with, their daughter, who was 4, I think,
Yeah.
just was done. She was, and being in a hotel, you
I
probably
get
don't get
that.
you don't get
totally
sleep.
get it.
You know, it's like, I mean, the kid just went to shit.
Uh-huh.
So he left with her right away. The other little kid was only like, I think he's only like 1, let's just say, whatever. I think he's 1 or 2, somewhere in there.
God.
I forget exactly how old, but he can't really do anything. So
Yeah.
they kind of hang out with him for maybe a half hour, then they leave. I I paid $80 for all 8 of us to go in there to this thing. 2 of the kids didn't want to spend any time in there. Quinn, she made it maybe 10 minutes and she was like, I'm done. She was just crying. She doesn't want to do this anymore. Because it's like all slushy and icy. You're kind of walking around and everything. Leo thankfully wanted to go on some slides, so he was okay. We got some value out of it. And now the 2 little boys, they were under 3, so they were free. And the girls probably could have gotten away with being said 3 and under is free. I paid the $8 for them to go in, whatever. But at that point, it ruined everything for us, and it was so expensive that it was just a pain in the ass. And I wanted to, and we were talking because the guy who we're with, he's a friend of the podcast. He listens.
Oh, very
so
nice.
we were both like, we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to trash this company. Now, in their defense, it's a really cool thing if you were to just go as an adult and you walked right in, and at night apparently they light the ice up with different colors.
Do they market it for kids?
Yeah, because they have little slides. They have little tunnels, and you go into the tunnels, and you go down these slides, and it's meant to be
picture a whole bunch
interactive.
of wet, sloppy. Just
they
like,
tell you wear snow pants. I mean, everything's slushy, and because it was kind of a sunny day, they had cones down because it was turning into slush.
Yeah.
And have you ever been to where, like, you know the difference between snow, and then you notice the difference between like shaved ice that you'd get in your soda?
Yeah.
That's what was on the ground.
Ugh.
Because like it didn't pack together. It was kind of like.
just shit.
Yeah, and then because it got warm,
You're telling me this story. I don't want to go to any ice.
Yes. So again, it would have been really cool if it would have been the perfect day and it was night out and you and your wife went and you kind of walked around and this is really neat. But again, it wasn't meant for big kids to go down the slides. There was no way I was squeezing through these tiny tunnels. And Kate at one point tried to get my kid to go up on this like little area and then you kind of walk through a tunnel and then you slide down.
Yeah.
Problem is, she couldn't even get Leo up there because she kept slipping and sliding on the ice. Like, it just, I don't know. And for as much as it costs,
Well, and
it was
you're
not
already
worth
in a
it.
bad mood, so like,
I was
everything.
done.
Yeah.
I told. The worst part is when we get there, the lady was super sweet. She was nice about it, so I wasn't gonna make a scene, and I'm not that guy. Like I'm not.
Okay.
I kind of want to be like, dude, what was the holdup? But
Right.
at that point, I just didn't even give a shit what she was gonna say. Nothing she was gonna say was gonna make it better.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was. I was just like, and they market this thing as like the coolest thing ever, and it did get really good reviews online. The problem is that when you say you're a company, like if McDonald's opens at 6:00 and they don't open until 6:45,
Yeah.
people are gonna flip out, and
Right.
like you can't do that as a I mean, and had they spread over the speaker, hey guys, there's a security issue, or there's too much ice,
We're
or
rebuilding
whatever.
something.
Yeah. Okay, no big deal. I mean, then
Yeah.
they would at least have known. Or hey, go sit in your cars. It's going to be a half hour. I got a kid here now, and now both my kids came back sick. I think they have a virus from something else. They didn't get sick from standing in the cold, but
sure.
now all of a sudden my kid's got pneumonia because he's. I mean, granted that's the worst case, obviously, and everything, but still, I'd have been
You're stretching
really.
that.
It's kind of like what the hell. So I was really mad, and hopefully you can tell from the tone
I
of my
definitely
voice
get. I
here.
mean, you are passionate right now.
I was so mad. I was just like, it ruined it for me. And then, of course, I tried to be grumpy about it because my kids, I want them to have a good time.
How'd that go?
Not well. So we actually went to the car and waited for my wife with my son because he wanted to do more, which is great. At least he got something out of it.
Guess what our picture's gonna be?
What's that?
On YouTube?
What's that?
An ice castle.
Go for it. With a big X around it. F you.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not. I think they're like cool show clicks or whatever the hell the thing is. And don't go. Just for me. No. And apparently they must
Boycotting
make
this
a
for
racket
Jeff.
on this thing because
Well,
they
$80
wanted $20 per adult if you walked up. If you bought tickets ahead of time, it was like only $13. So if you think of it, it's not too bad. But $20. So,
That's ridiculous.
and thankfully, then my kids were my son was free and their son was free. But the girls paid $8. The one $8 didn't even go in.
I mean,
No.
maybe I can think that it's your engagement weekend and it's nighttime and they're all lit up and it's really cool to go through. I can see that. Not
Agreed.
that you're going to get engaged, but it's like part of the weekend, you know? Maybe I can see spending $20 there.
Now they did have something between like 2 and 4 that day. So right when we got there was kind of ending. They had like a girl dressed as Elsa in the ice castle.
course, yeah.
And then that night they also had like fire dancers and like dressed in like I don't know. That was on the
that's
pictures or
interesting.
whatever.
Yeah.
So again, don't take your kids there. It's one of those things you just go and you watch it and you go home. Like a half hour of my time is not worth $20 in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, or the 13 it was online. So it just ruined it. And then of course that ruined my Sunday because that was a big part of the Sunday. And it was just
That's all
like,
you were thinking about.
well, it was just like that was kind of the whole point of sticking around. Otherwise, we'd have left right away. We'd have gotten home
that's a
an
good
hour
point.
or 2 hour. We waited in line for 45 minutes. I mean, we had a half hour, but I don't know. So by the time we got out of there and everything else, it was whatever. So, that was my not. I've been waiting to say that. So, but
Well,
it
I
leads me to
appreciate you bringing that up.
Leads me to my next thing.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm-
this is
I'm
why
listening,
I
Jeff.
realized I'm
Just
a
you and I in
curmudgeon.
this room.
I'm a curmudgeon about things. So I don't really find joy in a lot of things in my life. I understand that. And this is why. So I was I was excited for the ice castle for my kids. I was excited that they would have a good time. I was also excited because I paid a bunch of money. I wanted to get some value out of it, right?
Okay.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. So I was upset.
It did not.
So in the end, though, because when we first got there, I'm like, seems like a lot of money. Hope we get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If not, it's gonna suck. I'm like, I hope it doesn't suck. I have a feeling it's gonna suck because you don't know how much is in there. So if you set your expectations really low, like I did this time, I'm not disappointed necessarily. I'm upset because they screwed me, but if you kind of go into it saying this is gonna suck anyways, it can't hurt. Now, the other thing is, my wife and I were going to celebrate Valentine's Day the next day on Monday nights.
Very nice.
I got off of work early. She got off of work early. We're going to drop the kids off at my parents. We're going to go to dinner, come home, do our thing.
Mm-hmm.
As we get the kids ready to go, my daughter throws up everywhere. She had thrown up earlier in the day, but we were told she was fine. Literally, jackets on, about to walk out the door, and just throws up everywhere. I can't. I don't have it in my heart to bring her to my parents' house and just be like, "Here, deal with her." So we keep them. The next day, my son's got diarrhea, like you wouldn't believe. He's still got it now. It's not good. So again, I was very excited to go out to dinner and not have kids and all this stuff. And when it didn't go right, I was kind of mad. I was disappointed. So
Yep.
again, I realized that I'm kind of a curmudgeon because I never want to be disappointed with anything. So I'm just like, everything sucks. And if it still sucks, I was right and I win. Or if it sucks and it's better, then I just say, oh, I was pleasantly surprised.
So do you ever find that because you go in with this is going to suck attitude, that something that might have had a chance of being good sucks just because you have that attitude?
No, I'm okay with it being better than what I thought. I don't have to have it suck. Like, I'm like, this is going to suck. No matter what, it's going to suck. No, I'm just like, I have a feeling this is going to suck. And if it doesn't, perfectly fine with except I'm perfectly okay with admitting I was wrong about it.
Huh.
But I'm never going to be like, I don't know. I guess I don't get excited for things because you get let down a couple times. It's just like, well, you get mad or upset or frustrated. So I'm just like, well, screw it.
So I've in my mid to later 20s and now into my 30s, I've been in the camp of whether something quote unquote sucks or not.
Yep.
It does or doesn't based off of how you think about it. So something may suck, but like if you don't allow it to suck in your head,
The Ice Castle thing sucked.
that does sound like it was shitty.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking that way.
I know. I get what you're... so it's a mind state is what you're saying. Or an
Right. I
attitude.
mean, something like you could. It's just like the proverbial, look for the silver lining, that
Yeah.
type of thing.
I get that, but I'm thinking more like events or things I look forward to. Like the weather. If it rains, it doesn't... That doesn't bother me or anything
See,
like that,
I usually go in with no expectations.
but- Okay.
I don't say that I'm like, well, this is probably gonna be lame. I just think of, I have no idea what's gonna happen here.
And then either way, you're either
And
up or
then
down.
and then it either sucks like
Which sucks. Which
like
is
you're
like that.
unfortunate.
Yes. Yeah.
Or it's like, holy shit, this is pretty cool,
Yeah. And
So-
I look forward to things that are awesome. Like sometimes I'll put on a movie and I won't have any like, this will probably suck. And it's really good. And I'm perfectly okay with saying it was really good. Or
Yeah.
go to a restaurant, do something like that. My wife drives me all over places. And I'm just like, this is going to suck. And I get there and I'm like, oh, it wasn't so bad. I'm okay with admitting it.
That's cool.
But it's one of those things where I realize that nothing in my life do I get really excited about, like excited, like you do when you were a little kid. Now, I was
that's
just
just
really
called being an
excited
adult.
when Fallout 4 came out. I was really excited.
Wow.
So I went and bought a video. Finally bought an
Video
Xbox
game.
One because I waited for so long.
Sure.
Video game. And I bought the Fallout. I was really excited for it.
Yeah.
And of course, like, it didn't work out the way I wanted because I was going to buy it on Black Friday. I went to Kohl's. I waited in line. I did all this stuff. And then I got screwed over and didn't get an Xbox. So I was really mad because I was, like, looking forward to playing it that whole long weekend.
Well, yeah.
So I went on Thursday night. So I was like, I got Friday. I got Saturday. I got Sunday. My wife was all about it. She's like, I'll totally let you have some time to play it. And then we couldn't. And she knew I was just, she could tell, like, my heart had been crushed. And so she's like, she went online and she bought it for me. And because at that point I was like, everything sucks. I don't want it, And I threw a hissy fit, of course, as you do. As
Your kids
do.
are like, Dad, whoa, calm down. Jeez.
Just like
Someone need a
Shopkins, Dad.
timeout?
It's just like Shopkins.
Someone need a timeout? Huh?
So I was like, this sucks. So she went online and found a similar deal, so bought it. But then I had to wait for it to get delivered and stuff. So it didn't work out the way I wanted. But she was nice enough. I was coming home from early or whatever, from work early, and she set it up for me, so I was ready to play and whatnot. And so, but yeah, it's one of those things where, to your point, the older you get, those things don't happen. Like I remember being a little kid and being excited for every Christmas, every birthday, and now it's just like
as I'm sitting here, listening to this, and I'm thinking for once, and it popped in my head that there are things that I wouldn't say that I'm expecting them to suck, quote unquote suck, but because of experience, like doing them over and over, I already kind of know what I'm walking into. Like I'll use this one as an example. Dave Matthews Band this last summer. I love Dave Matthews Band. And of course, as you get older and things in your life change and you just, not as passionate, but still that is the one concert that I will for sure go and see every year.
Yeah.
And every year that I continue to go, it's like I don't have the stamina or energy that I used to, because I used to get I'd get goosebumps listening to these guys play live. Sure. And like this last year, I remember turning to Miranda and I was just like, I'm tired. And it's getting down to the end of the show and it's like, I don't want to leave because I don't want to miss anything. But when I stayed, it was like I've seen that already. So it wasn't that I was disappointed. I was disappointed in myself is what I was.
Well, you're probably more sad that you were feeling that way.
Yeah, I was. But it's one of those things where, and just like you said with Christmas, nowadays, for me, it's like, I can't wait to kind of see everybody,
Sure.
But still, yeah, I've seen the gifts.
You kind of know what you're going to get.
Done the routine, so.
And I think that's like the big thing about Christmas is it always was a mystery of what you were going to get. Like, and you never knew what the big present you were going to get was. Was it the year I got the Super Nintendo and I freaked the F out? Was it the year I got the bike for my birthday and I freaked the F out? Like all these.
Ladies and gentlemen, you should see Jeff right now. I mean, he's got this glimmer in his eye. He's kind of.
But there's a lot of those are big memories for me, and now I don't have those as an adult. It's not like my wife went out and bought me something super cool.
Yeah.
Just like I didn't go out and buy her something super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope I did, but I know I didn't.
She's gonna comment.
Yeah. Remember that one time
try
you did
again,
buy me
buddy.
anything?
The one thing I do have to say, as an adult, this podcast has become pretty fun for me. I think finding new hobbies and things like that is really kind of. I when I was younger, and I mean my mid-20s, like I wanted a motorcycle. I wanted a motorcycle in the worst way. Nowadays, I will ride that bastard hard in the springtime.
Because
the moment it gets nice out, it's just I'm riding. And then by midsummer, I'm like, I've done it. Yeah. Wait, there's plenty of good riding time to go.
There are a lot of people who are really passionate about it too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just not.
I don't know. I don't get it because I have some friends, like you said, that they'll call me all year round, like, dude, you want to go ride? You want to go ride? And I'm like,
and I'm kind of getting that way with the Packers. I hate to say it that way, but like Packers to me used to be like a end of the weekend kind of thing, and we sit down and do it now. And now it's kind of like I got kids, I got to take care of them and do all this other stuff. And
sure,
and it becomes the I don't know. Now I don't watch the NFL nearly as much. I just kind of watch the Packer games. I don't have time for the rest of it too.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do have to say about that is it takes a toll on me.
Well, you emotionally get so into it.
Well, towards the end of like this year,
yeah.
As much as you hate to see them lose against the Falcons, it was still one of those things where it's like, well, I remember the year before that when they lost against the Cardinals.
Oh, well, that was a crazy year.
I was like, thank God. It's like,
well, that was
everyone go get rested
Hail
up.
Mary after Hail Mary. Yeah.
Let's get this thing back. But it was even when they lost this year, I was kind of like, all right, it's I'm ready to take a nap now, that type of thing. So.
And I was going to make that comment too in the hot thing. I do like having my Sundays back. Of you loop your whole day around that game, and it normally involves me going to my parents and then staying there super late and having dinner. Now it's like we can be at home, we can get the kids in bed at a normal time, we can do laundry, do all this other stuff that gives us more time during the week.
Yep.
Because it does take your whole day up. I mean,
Kinda
especially
does.
when you've got kids and you've got to organize the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even when it's not at your house, you still have to get everybody up.
Bundle everybody up and
So I do enjoy having my Sundays. And we've been recording not on Saturdays, so it's been nice to have a couple Saturday and Sunday to kind of just do whatever you need to do. So
it has been nice. I don't know. We'll see how this goes, moving forward.
All right. So you got something? Otherwise, I got that last story.
No, let's go on to your last story there.
So
let's hear what you
this
got.
happened. So Valentine's Day was Tuesday.
Hope everyone had a good
Wednesday morning, I dropped my daughter off at school.
Wonderful.
And I turned the radio on after I got her out of the car. So,
okay.
I immediately told Joe this story as soon as I got in because I was going to talk about the podcast.
I was rolling,
and he's
laughing.
So
and I'm
hopefully
laugh
this is
again.
funny. So apparently, on the morning of Valentine's Day, a gentleman must have called into the radio station. I think it was 103.7 Kiss FM.
Oh.
He had called in. He's originally from New York. He had a real thick accent, but he had moved here, and I believe his wife was from Wisconsin, just based on her accent. Anyways.
Based off accent. It could be Midwestern.
Anything. But anyway, they settled here. So he apparently found on their personal computer some Google searches for threesome and redhead. And so he's thinking to himself, it wasn't me. My wife is searching for porn with threesome and redhead. So he knows this a couple weeks ago or whatever. And so he's thinking, I'm in. This is going to happen, right? So he goes out and gets a fancy reservation at a really nice restaurant. He gets a room at a very nice hotel. And this is down in Milwaukee somewhere. And then proceeds to hire an escort, a redhead, obviously, to then meet them in the hotel room after dinner. So he goes, he has the dinner, gets a couple bottles of wine in her, gets her upstairs, and he's like, why don't you go into the room, baby? So she opens the door and immediately sees somebody in their room. Two things run through her mind. Either A, we're in somebody else's room, or B, there's somebody in our room. Oh my God. And so she starts freaking out. And she wants to call the front desk and all this other. He's like, no, baby. Go inside. And explains to what's happening. She proceeds to slap him very hard and kick him out of the room. I assume the escort also. Kick him out of the room. Now, the next morning. So she
probably stays there all night.
So he had called the radio station the morning of Valentine's Day saying, this is what I'm going to do. These events happen overnight. And now I'm hearing this story the next morning on the 15th. As he calls in. They also have his wife call in. I don't know how they got this all worked out, but she called in also. So she and him are having this conversation about, he kept saying, in my defense, I saw this on the search history. In my defense, I thought this was a good idea. In my defense. And the radio guys are like, why wouldn't you just talk to her first, instead of just... And so he's like, well, she always wants me to spice things up and, always wants me to think outside the box because everybody does, the normal stuff. And he's like, I thought I was doing the right thing. When every other man in America is like, you're wrong. Like, this is not... Man. Life is not a crazy porno. This is not how life really works. At least not for normal people, I guess. So anyway... This is the best part. This is where the story gets really great. So he's saying to his wife, he's like, baby, okay, tell me once and for all that was not you Googling threesome with redhead. And she's like, I swear to God that was not me. And he's like, you know what? I believe you based on what you just said and how hard you slapped me last night. I know that really wasn't you. And he's like, so I had a lot of time to think last night because you kicked me out of the hotel room. I didn't really have anywhere to go. So I was thinking about it. The search history was on Saturday during this certain time period. And if it wasn't me and it wasn't you, it had to have been Gary the dog walker.
Flippin' Gary.
And she goes, oh my God. And suddenly the light clicks on and everybody goes. And so they're both like, they both realize. And she's like, oh, I totally, kind of understand where you're coming from, because she probably thought he was just making this whole thing up, whatever. Because she's probably thinking, dude, that was your search history. Why,
of course, yeah.
And so he's like, no, it was yours. So in the end, they kind of make up, but I'm kind of curious how the conversation with Gary the dog walker went.
Like, I hope they call in.
Excuse me, Gary. Yeah.
We've decided to go other ways.
So have you been using my laptop? Have you actually been walking the dog?
Oh my God.
Is that a slang for something else? I'm over at this guy's house. I'm walking the dog. So I just thought it was such a funny story that
it is
I thought I'd
good.
share.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if you
nothing that crazy,
we don't have a lot of listeners out there, so nobody also heard it on WIXX. But we will tag them in the video and see if somebody links it at all or something. So it's just a really funny story, so I thought I'd share. So. It was just funny the way this New York accent guy, he was just trying to defend what he did. He's like, it was my defense. I see the search history. And it was just so funny. It was just so funny.
That is awesome.
I hope it worked out for those folks.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure things probably got spicy.
Well, they had
on.
She said they were married like 7-8 years or something. So long enough time where they kind of knew each other.
Yeah.
Where,
and a good old slap could probably get that.
I think I wish it would have been there. It would have been really funny.
Oh, wow.
What if he he's like, yeah, I'll escort the girl downstairs. I'll be right back.
Yeah, right?
I'm going to get my money's worth at least.
Hey, so she's obviously not going to be.
But they were talking about he had to spend a couple $1,000s on this night and for all to go down the drain. Oh, man. I mean, in her defense, that's a little bit too far. I mean, that especially when they've never talked about it either.
Exactly. And that's where, we talked. I would first approach Miranda and be like,
so
I have noticed.
Tell me what I'm seeing here.
My search history is telling me something kind of interesting here. I'm okay with it. I really am, but
yeah. And, he even admitted, he's like, I know I search for stuff. I don't search for that, though. It's like, I know I do. And I do.
Oh,
but not, it was just so funny.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, cool. Thank you.
I just wanted to share this cool story.
That was very good.
Should have been part of the story thing, but Joe was doing his thing, so I kind of took over part 2. So.
Oh, no, that's good. That's real good. Yeah. It's not really a news story. I mean, it is a news story, but it's not
more personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This gentleman got slapped.
Oh, man. But imagine the roller coaster of a night you were in. Because you're just like... Oh,
you were pumped before that.
He's like, she's all liquored up.
Dude.
She's into this. I've got the hotel room.
This can be great.
The best night of my life.
Nope.
Tragic end. Tragic end. Oh, that's terrible.
Well, let this be a note to all you...
And if you're the escort out there, please come on the podcast and tell us what happened that night.
Yeah, let us know what it was like on that side.
On the third person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's funny. She probably just went back to work.
Well, they made it sound like she was a classier broad.
I would assume so.
So maybe she made enough money that night to not have to.
Oh, I got the night off. Kick your shoes off.
Let's go to Denny's. I don't know why I said Denny's, but
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
All right.
Well, hey, episode 16.
In the books.
Coming to a wrap here.
Okay.
So thank you all very much for jumping on. Of course, as always, all the random useless info you want to know. It's Friday Nights with
Jeff
and Joe. So you can catch us.
But that was the end. I'm all
no,
okay.
No.
You're fake.
Yeah, you can obviously catch us on Facebook and on YouTube, where you're most likely listening to this right now. But in time, maybe it'll be on a podcast.
Very, very soon.
Yes.
Very, very soon.
We're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But as we've said a couple times throughout the podcast, please feel free to reach out to us, whether it's on a YouTube comment. Please, obviously, like or dislike anything on YouTube or comment, subscribe, and then you can also message us on the old FB or comment on anything we post there. We post a lot of stuff there, a lot of funny things usually. But
yeah, if you have a comment about what we do, you got a topic you want us to talk about, or if you want to come on and join us, we'd love to have you. We've always got a third mic just set up, waiting for somebody else.
It's literally just sitting open. It's on.
It's Krista's other mic, so it just kind of sits there empty.
We're kind of waiting for, while we're talking, then all of a sudden someone else will be on there with us.
We're just going to pull people off the streets of Batavia. Just
sounds good.
Yeah, just local bar time, 2 a.m. Just start pulling people in.
Hey, you. Come here. Come talk into this thing.
You with the stumble.
Yeah. Talk into this thing.
Jeff and Joe, we're on the streets. They having sex or working out.
Hey, more to come, ladies and gentlemen. More to come on that.
That might be a video episode.
Cool. But thank you again, as always, for joining us on all the random useless info you want to know. It's Friday Nights with
Joe
and Joe.